Perhaps you have joined this course because you simply want to learn about ISO 27001. Or you might also have a bigger goal in mind, to become a certified ISO 27001 lead implementer to take your career to the next level. If that's your goal, then this lecture is for you. If not, feel free to skip straight to the next section and grab your course resources. Now, this course is designed to fully align with the official curriculum of TRECCERT's ISO 27001 Lead Implementer certification. That means everything you learn here will directly prepare you for the certification exam and give you the knowledge you need to succeed. Now, what makes the ISO 27001 Lead Implementer certification by TRECCERT so special is the fact that it has been accredited by ANAP, the American National Accreditation Board, against ISO 17024. This puts TRECCERT in excellent company. Here you can see some other providers of ANAP accredited certification schemes, for example ISACA with their iconic CISM and CISA certifications, or ISC2 with the CISSP. You've probably also heard about CompTIA and their vendor-neutral IT certifications like the A+, or Network Plus. Now, if you don't feel comfortable to go straight for the lead implementer, you might want to consider starting with the practitioner certification first. And if your goal is to become an auditor, then the lead auditor certification could be the perfect next step for you. Either way, this course is specifically designed to prepare you for the ISO 27001 lead implementer certification. However, it also covers a great deal of content relevant for the practitioner and lead auditor certifications, giving you a strong foundation across the entire TRECCERT information security program. Now, in the following, I will explain every step you need to take to become a certified ISO 27001 lead implementer. There are basically 4 requirements you need to fulfill to acquire the TRECCERT certification. First, you need to pass the exam, which tests your knowledge in 6 different domains. Second, you need to fulfill the qualification requirements, which means demonstrating sufficient professional experience in information security management and having at least a high school degree. This can be done through a combination of education and work experience. Third, you need to adhere to TRECCERT's Code of Ethics, which sets the standard for the conduct of information security professionals. And finally, you need to adhere to the continuous professional education policy, which requires you to maintain your knowledge and skills through ongoing professional development. Let's have a brief look at each of the requirements. Now, the most intimidating requirement is, of course, passing the exam. Before actually taking the exam, there are a couple of organizational steps necessary. The first step is, of course, to learn and master the 6 domains. Of course, you could also start learning after registering or even scheduling an exam, so this decision is pretty much up to you. Now, the second step I would recommend is to register and purchase an exam voucher, which you can do at any time. At the time of recording, TRECCERT is charging $6.99 for the exam, but you can find discounts online to save a couple of bucks. You are then requested to apply for the exam by filling out the exam application form. If your application is approved, TRECCERT will send you the credentials for their online exam platform where you can schedule the exam. Next comes the preparation stage. At some point, it's time to take the exam. We'll cover the actual exam in more depth in the next lecture, but for now, you have to know that it's a multiple choice format and consists of 150 questions. In order to pass the exam, you have to answer at least 60% of the questions correctly. But like I said, more about that in the next lecture. Now, besides passing the exam, you also have to demonstrate sufficient professional experience in order to become certified. To qualify for this certification, candidates must meet specific educational and professional experience requirements. First, candidates must at least have a high school degree. Second, a minimum of 5 years of general work experience is required. At least 2 of the 5 years must be specific work experience related to information security with a minimum of 400 hours dedicated to implementation experience. There are waivers available for candidates with higher education degrees. So you can substitute up to 2 years with a bachelor's or master's degree. This can come in handy if you are a recent graduate and haven't been in the market for too long. Alright, another requirement to becoming certified is adhering to the TRECCERT Code of Ethics. TRECCERT has set forth this code to guide the professional and personal conduct of its members and certification holders. The code outlines the fundamental principles of ethical behavior such as honesty, objectivity, and confidentiality, which are essential for a successful career in information security management. As a TRECCERT certified professional, you are expected to uphold these principles and maintain the highest level of integrity in all your professional endeavors. You can find the complete Code of Ethics on TRECCERT's website. So make sure to review it thoroughly and incorporate it into your professional conduct to avoid any trouble. Last but not least, you need to adhere to the continuous professional education program, which requires you to maintain your knowledge and skills through ongoing professional development. Obtaining such a certification is not a one-time effort, but more of an ongoing journey. As a lead implementer, you are required to obtain and report a certain amount of CPE hours to demonstrate your ongoing commitment towards the evolution of the profession. We will cover this topic in more depth in the lecture on how to maintain a TRECCERT certification at the very end of this course. Now, I also want to stress that this process is of course subject to change. For the most recent information, make sure to have a look into the official candidate handbook first.